I am with former champion. I don't even know how many championships you have. Too many to count. Ryan Villapoto, and glad to have you here in Glendale. Obviously, you saw the action, and you have this championship battle that you have been in many of. Give us your thoughts on the Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb championship. Obviously, Eli Tomac made up some points tonight, but yeah, give us your opinion.
Well, I thought it was Triple Crowns always promote great racing, and it's always really fun to watch, especially for me, fans, everybody. So the track was actually the first time I've ever been to this stadium. So to see the floor size was pretty cool, and the way they built the track was good, really fast. You know, not a ton of opportunities to pass, but if you really could set guys up through the whoops and down the start straight, there was a few spots. But as for the championship, I thought Eli rode phenomenal tonight. With 3 gate drops in one night, there's a lot that can happen. There's a lot that can go wrong. And Eli just stayed right in it the whole time. And you know, one of the motos there that Coop fell back a couple spots, you know, those are all crucial points right there. So to be consistent in these Triple Crowns and make it through the night and put them up on the box is key. So I've said this in the show on Title 24 with me and RC, and I think it's going to be hard for everybody to beat Eli. Eli's on a roll, and we're coming down to the last couple rounds here, a handful of rounds, and I think it's going to be hard to stop him.
So does he have a weakness? And 2 questions here. Does he have a weakness that you would, if you were facing him, that you would try to exploit? And also on Cooper Webb's side, he comes into this race, his average finish at Glendale was like 7.6, right? So he knew he had a weakness. He knew he'd struggled here. What can you do to try to offset that other than you know, he's so good about just willing himself to success, but I think there is something. It's the dirt, it's the whoops. There's something that he's missing. What can he do to work on that?
You know, tonight, watching and the way the track kind of developed, and, you know, he didn't struggle in the whoops too bad. Eli had some phenomenal passes through the whoops, though, all day. But I thought Coop was definitely a bit closer this weekend in the whoops. But just with the track being that it gets a little bit more hard pack, we all know how Coop really likes to run those insides, and this track didn't have a ton of those. It definitely, I just walked it. There's a ton of blue groove tire, just rubber left on the track. That's how Phoenix normally gets, and it. You know, you have to. That's really hard to really push a little bit over the limit to make up that ground to catch those guys. Everybody, if you watched them, everybody was in a train. That middle race there, it was other than Chase having a gap. Man, it was 2nd through 6th that were all over each other. So that's a tough spot to be in. That you're sitting there watching, you're playing cat and mouse with everybody, and there's like, what can I do to be better? So it was a tough one for those guys.
Well, from one champion down here with RV back to another champion, RC in the booth. You guys take it away.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Ryan. And typically with Cooper Webb, it's the racecraft that does the work for him, and the speed is up. He was fast in that first race. He hung in there with Eli, so overall on the bike, probably okay, but the craft maybe cost him tonight?
Yeah, the craft, exactly what. He went opposite of what he's so good at. And I don't know why he started on the outside of Eli Tomac. Maybe he was playing some strategy. We were talking during a commercial break. I'm like, did he do that messing with Eli? Because sometimes he'll play with people off the track or tactics, and maybe he thought confident enough, and I don't know this, I'm just guessing this, is that he started on the outside of Eli. If he thought he could get a good jump, then he could shut him down, and then that plays games mentally with Eli. But that was a really, really risky move to do that, especially with all the other guys on the inside. So it put him far back. Then he gets 5th. Okay, so then he goes to the 3rd race, and he has 5th gate pick. And it just manifests from that one bad decision boiled over to what you saw. That's what I think. It costed him big tonight. He lost 7 points, and that could be the nail in the coffin for him.
Let's see how it happened tonight in the 450 class. So 450 highlights from Glendale. They started right next to each other, the 1 and the 2.
Well, there you go. The inside, that's what you want to do in his position. You got to start on the inside.
And for Eli Tomac, his start's kind of underrated. Those things have come around, and he led the race. Cooper Webb, though, started 2nd. You're thinking maybe Eli's just going to check out while all the madness goes on behind him. But once things settled down, and it was just 1 and 2, hung in there. But Chase Sexton made it fun for a bit.
Tough race to call. Yeah, Sexton comes up through the pack right there. But this was tough because you're just waiting for something to happen. Never happened, but great inside line right there. This would get harder to do as the race on the 2nd races and the 3rd races because it got so dry and hard Could use that inside and lean.
Now, if you're a Webb fan or you're part of the Webb team, you feel good about that right there, right?
100%. Well, check this out. Chase Sexton gets by Ken Roxon right up the inside for the checker flag. Kid's looking at the pylon to see if he beat him.
He's hoping he maybe hit that transponder. Come around for race 2. Now Chase Sexton's able to get out front. Tomac's there. Where's Webb? I don't see him.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Sorry, this is the 3rd race that he's back.
Yep.
Outside, but he's going to have his issues. We'll get there. But Sexton's out front. You're thinking everything's fine, and then this happens.
He comes in this left-hander, goes to accelerate, boom, stalls the bike, hits the electric start.
But then he does this. I mean, the crowd lost it right here. Sexton said, you know what? My bad. I want it back.
Check that drive out that he gets. He comes up the right-hand side, and the right-hand side of the whoops, I feel, was the most consistent and dominant. This is another error, and you talk about crap that he went against. Cooper Webb went against everything that he is so good at. He goes into the corner way too hard, slams Jason Anderson. I mean, he had to know that Jason Anderson was going to go low like that. So he does that, boom. Now Anderson gives him the business back, and I think that's going to carry on for the rest of the series.
Yeah, especially with all these other riders like Chase Sexton who are like, hey, you guys have your title fight. We don't care. We want to get involved, and we want to have some race wins too. They're going to play a role in this thing to the end. We go to race 3. Kevin Moran's at the inside, goes flying in and roundhouse kicks to the ground.
Yeah, you know what? Eli Tomac, Chase Sexton are extremely lucky that nothing happened to them, that they didn't go down, that something didn't break off to their bike. I mean, Kevin Moran's just in there with way too much speed, way out of his league, right there, racing around these guys. You have to be mindful. If you're going to get those good starts like that, you gotta ride at that level like those guys are doing.
Anderson goes down there, big crash late in that 3rd race, and for Eli Tomac, this win gets him back on track. He's been off on Triple Crowns for a while, but he gets the win, so he's good there. But it's the points that he gains because of Barcia in the middle, Sexton in the middle. You think they're going to play a role down the stretch?
Yeah, 100%, because we talked about it. You know, Eli has the raw speed over Cooper. He's better in the whoops. Okay, that's 2 things going against Cooper. Cooper has the craft, but he went, like I said, he did things a lot different from the craft part of things. So.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. It's Eli Tomac's championship to lose.
Wow, and he takes control of it. Look at that, 4 points, 1-2-1. What a night for Eli Tomac. And Cooper Webb started strong, but then those issues, you said, when the craft went bad, everything kind of fell apart from there. He gets 4th overall. Eli Tomac grabs the win, and talk to Will Christian.
Thank you, Daniel and Eli. Huge congratulations to you. There's a lot of good to be taken away from tonight. You get to move into that spot right behind Jeremy McGrath there, the 2nd most winning Supercross racer of all time. That's a big deal. And now you leave Glendale here with that red plate just to you and a 7-point buffer. How are you feeling?
Oh, it was a fantastic evening. We had such an awesome crowd here. This is somewhat of a local race to me, so we have so many family and friends out here. So I always have good energy here. It was a very tough racetrack tonight, one of the slicker ones that we've raced on in a long time. So it was fun. It was a different challenge, and starts were key tonight, and we rocketed out there. So thank you, Monster Energy, Star, Yamaha. We're just going to keep on going.
Clearly a fun night for you. Just one other thing that was kind of fun right at the beginning that I want to ask you about, your good friend there, Kyle Stone. We saw a baby reveal there. Were involved in the beginning. Just give me a little bit of a background story on that.
That's right. Kyle's been driving my motorhome since 2016. So it's so cool to see how we've grown as a family and how he's grown, with his own personal life there, and introducing a baby girl in your life is so cool. So congrats, Kyle, and like I said, it's just so cool to see the family grow.
Congratulations to you and to Kyle.
That's cool. How about this? Baby reveal in opening ceremonies. Eli comes out of the tunnel, and the reveal's on the bike. Watch the pink.
I love it.
How cool is that?
That is so special. Look at the reaction. There's Kyle there.
And now the championship points. We said it on the broadcast. That's a big 7 right there because we're running out of time and Eli's so strong. I mean, Cooper Webb now has to dig out of that just to get even and then try to take the lead.
Yeah, outside of the championship points too. Keep your eye on Ken Roxon and Justin Barcia battle right there. 4th place isn't bad bragging rights, so give Justin Barcia the upper hand in this, just with how how well he's been doing the last 4 races.
Christian Craig is 8th in points. He had a crash today in qualifying, so he left the building, went to the hospital, and word is that the hip at one point was displaced. They were able to get it back in. They're going to get the swelling down, and then they're going to travel home and look at the elbow and possible surgery on the elbow. So a tough break for Christian Craig.
Yeah, rookie season on that 450 class, and man, he was starting to get some good momentum going, running up front, having some good times. Seattle wasn't great, but still, he had some good races leading up to that race, and you could see things were starting to click, and man, hope you feel better, bud.
Let's go to Jason Thomas, who took a close look at those whoops and can explain more on what happened throughout the entire night. It was wild, the whoops. Here's JT.
So this track tonight was absolutely brutal, and nowhere more brutal than these whoops. And the most challenging thing of this is not only were they slippery, but they were so square edged. And what I mean by that, if you look down, you can see the angle that these guys are having to get drive off of. And if they spin, if they get a little off kilter as they go, well, guess what? The next one they hit, they're going to be a little bit more sideways and a little bit more sideways. And you get worse and worse. You end up, hopefully, not crashing. But as we saw with guys like Jason Anderson and others, you can't end up on the ground. And this is so difficult. The level of difficulty here is at an all-time high. You go through each round, 17 rounds of Supercross. They don't get a lot tougher than this. I mean, you saw even the best guys in the sport, the Jet Lawrences, the Eli Tomacs, the Chase Sextons, having issues. Trust me, these guys are the best in the world. They don't have problems in whoops unless they look like this. So just to give you some perspective, you see guys like Justin Barcia in the background here coming to look because they're trying to learn something. You see Eli Tomac wandering over behind me as well, because not only can they try to figure out what could we have done better, they can also try to emulate that in testing. They can talk and show their suspension techs like, this is what we're up against. This is what I'm asking of the motorcycle. So a lot can be gleaned from these sessions. And yeah, if they weren't this difficult, I promise you they wouldn't be here.
Look at that. I mean, just checking it out.
Gnarly. Look at everybody. Look at Eli laughing. Barsha's shaking his head no.
Eli's laughing like, how did we do that all night?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw these things on press day yesterday, on Friday, they didn't look like they were going to be that bad, and they were kind of rolled and face down, but man, did they chew up. I think those are one of the most difficult whoops that we've seen all week long. But moving ahead, I give this championship to Eli Tomac. I think from what I saw tonight, I think he is the guy that can get it done so long as he can manage these next few races, because he has the speed advantage over Cooper. And what I saw from Cooper tonight, that was totally out of character for him, and that one was going to hurt. So now he's going to have to go back and get it, and it's Eli's to lose.
Hi folks, Lee Diffie from NBC Sports here. If you truly enjoyed what you just watched, you can get more news, interviews, and highlights by subscribing to the Motorsports on NBC YouTube page. You can get it all, so go for it.